Morning, my dear students. So, let's begin our class. Yes. Today we are going to take a new lesson, Food for Health. We know that all organisms need food and water to live, right? Yes. What is the purpose of eating this food, children? Yeah, we are eating the food for proper development of the body, for growth, right? Yes, to acquire immunity from certain diseases, to get energy to do various activities. So for this all purposes, we are eating food. Just think of a condition where we are not eating food for many days. What will be our situation? Yes, we will be tired, we will be weak, we will not be able to do any activities, we won't have any energy, right? So that is why it is important to eat food. Now, we know that in lower classes, we learned that the food contains some important substances. Do you know what are the important substances which contained in the food? Yes? Exactly. It's the nutrients. Nutrients are very essential for us children. So can you name the 5 nutrients? Yes, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. So these are the 5 nutrients present in the food. But these nutrients are not all the nutrients are not present in almost all the food items. Okay, see, look at this picture children. From your textbook there is an activity. Identify this food and tell me which is the nutrient present in it. Can you identify children? Yes, first one is rice. Right, it is a picture of rice. There is a table also in your textbook, so you can write the answer in the table. So children, in rice, what is the nutrient present? Carbohydrate. So you can write in the box carbohydrate. Then next picture, yes, it's the fish. So what nutrient is present in the fish? Proteins. Next one, coconut oil. Fat is present in the coconut oil. Next picture is the fruits and the vegetables. So it consists of vitamins and minerals. So these are the 5 main nutrients which is present in the food. Now we can study in detail about these nutrients. This is what we are going to learn from this lesson. First one is carbohydrate. You know what are the main consequences of carbohydrates? The main components present in carbohydrates are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Food items like cellulose, glucose, starch, these all are very rich in carbohydrates. Okay, so cereals and tubers like tapioca, potato, okay, so and cereals like wheat, maize, rice and all, it contains a lot of carbohydrates. Starch is the major component of carbohydrate. Okay, what is the function of carbohydrate? It provides energy for us to do various activities. If you include carbohydrates in your food item, we will have more energy to do all the works. If rice is not available, I told you starch is the main component. So rice is the another form of starch. Rice contains starch. If rice is not available, we can include tapioca, tubers, which contains lots of carbohydrates. Okay. Now there is a small test to detect the presence of carbohydrates. What you have to do, children, you have to take a test tube, then take a dropper, then rice gruel, that means kanni vellam, okay, and iodine solution. These are the things you have to take for this experiment. Take the rice gruel in the test tube. Put 2 or 3 drops of iodine solution and wait for some time. You can see the color change into deep blue color because the rice gruel അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കന്നി വെള്ളം, it consists of starch. High content of starch is available in rice gruel. So as soon as this iodine solution is put, it changed its color into deep blue color. So the deep blue color presents, it is detected that there is a presence of carbohydrate or there is a presence of starch in this food item. So this is a test for the carbohydrates. Okay. So these are about carbohydrates. The main consequence of carbohydrates are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. And carbohydrates' main role is to provide energy for us to do various activities. Starch is the main component of carbohydrates. Cellulose, glucose are other food items which includes a lot of carbohydrates and even cereals and tubers. Now we will go on to proteins. Proteins, the main consequence of proteins are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. These are the main components of proteins. So why do we take protein, children? Because it helps in the proper development of our body, for the growth, for formation of new cells, to repair the new cells, okay, to repair the old damaged cells into new cells. So for this all purposes, we need proteins. You know, children, what happens if protein is not included in our diet? Yes, it may lead to certain deficiency diseases like kwashiorkor and marasmus. You can see the picture of a child, one healthy child and a child which is suffering from protein deficiency. See his condition, children. This disease is called kwashiorkor. In this, the child will be very weak and he will have a protruded belly. That means the stomach will be bulged outside. So this is the condition where protein is not included in our diet. Okay, so you have to include more proteins in your diet like meat, fish, then green peas, okay, green gram, Bengal gram, this all you have to include in your diet. See, children, you can see the chart of the food items and how much percentage or how much gram of food proteins it contains. You can see the chart, it's given in your textbook. These are the food items and how much gram it contains. Actually, in our diet, a body requires 1 gram of protein. That is the measurement we require in our diet. And also these proteins will also supply energy. If there is no carbohydrates in our diet, these proteins, in the absence of carbohydrates, the proteins also will help us to give energy to do various activities. But the main role of proteins is for the growth and body building and for proper development of the body or body building, then for the formation of hair, for the formation of new cells, to repair the damaged cells. So for this all purposes, proteins are required. So it is necessary that in schools during the lunch meal to include in the food green gram, because green gram contains a high content of proteins. Okay children? So this is about carbohydrates and proteins. Now proteins, for testing, there is for proteins we have another test as we done in the carbohydrates. There is a test for proteins also. For this you have to take a beaker, a dropper, sodium hydroxide, copper sulfate, egg white, okay, and water. So add water to the egg white and stir it well. Okay, stir it properly. Then add 8 or 10 drops of sodium hydroxide. Then add 2 drops of copper sulfate. It must be concentrated copper sulfate. So after some time you can see a violet color. This indicates the presence of proteins in that egg white. So this is how the test for proteins. Now in your textbook there is a table given. Can you see children? Yes. This is to test for carbohydrates. You have to say whether this food items contains carbohydrates. Whether when you are testing it, whether it changes into deep blue color. So first one they have given ash guard. So ash guard, when we tested that there was no color change, so there is no presence of starch. Second one, wheat flour. There was a light blue color change, so it indicates that there is some amount of starch in the wheat flour. So light blue color, it was the change, color change. Next one, potato. Potato and all is having a high content of starch. It is rich in carbohydrate. So deep blue color and it indicates the presence of starch. Egg, no color change. So no starch is present. Egg contains proteins. Tapioca is another one which contains high content of carbohydrates. So deep blue color and presence of starch. Milk, no color change and no starch. So if you added, I have added some more food items. Actually in your textbook it is given hash guard and wheat flour. So some more things I added. Okay. So this is the activity that you have to do it in your textbook itself. So first one we took ash guard. In that no color change. Okay. And no starch is present. Then we took wheat flour. Here light blue color and some amount of starch is present. Then potato, deep blue color, starch is present in large quantities. Then egg, no starch. So, no color change. Then tapioca or tubers, it contains high content of starch or starch is present in large quantities, so deep blue color. And milk, there is no color change, so there is no starch. So this is a test for the carbohydrates. We have tested different food items to see whether the food item contains starch or not. So today we learnt about carbohydrates and proteins and the test for it, and what are the main consequences present in it and what is its function. So hope you have understood this topic. So the next nutrients, that is fats, vitamins, minerals, I will be explaining in the next class. So till then, bye children.